What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of The Locker Room. I am here with my boy,
brother
Cameron King. I've been waiting, watching footy for the last year or two. So, please get it back into first grade. You did it. You're playing some good footy. Haven't lost a game. How have you been, brother?
What's doing, my man?
Oh, man. So good to see you.
Good, man. It's been a journey.
Yeah.
But yeah, stoked to be getting a crack and playing some footy at the moment.
And the Eels, you've had a strange season, but all of a sudden it's like, oh, the Eels are actually looking all right. You know, you've been back for 4 games now?
5, I think. Yeah,
5 games,
5, yeah.
and you haven't had a loss. What's it like for the feeling for you? You know, you finally, because a lot of people that are listening, it's, you know, when you're in the reserve grade side and you get a crack, you're like, okay, maybe I'm going to get 1 game. I don't know whether I'll get another game. Whereas it's been 5 games for you now, so it's got to be such a relief to be able to be playing some regular first grade.
Yeah, it is hard when you just in for a week and then out for a month or something like that to get that consistency. And I suppose that's what's been really frustrating for my whole career. Is I think the most games I played in a row is 6 or 7.
Oh,
so
wow.
To get a crack at this time of year and be playing some good footy in a good team and looking at maybe playing semi-finals footy is pretty exciting and it's been a journey. Yeah.
Okay, so you've been playing 5 games. You got a bit of consistency, and how's the body feeling? You know, you've had quite a few injuries in your career, and that's what's kind of especially at a hooker, you need that long, games of footy and game after game to get the feel for the game. How's the body feeling now for you? If everything fresh, good?
Yeah, it's good. It's at this time of year, everyone's carrying niggles and stuff like that. But in terms of all the surgeries and everything I've had, and everything's hanging in all right, and just happy to be playing.
Playing first grade,
it's playing regular first grade again.
What a relief is today! It's just just even little things like walking into the dressing sheds and it's all nice and fresh and the stadium's mad. How good is it?
Yeah, it makes a difference, and it is tough at times to get yourself up to play reserve grade, but
especially at some of those rougher areas and rougher changing rooms,
but I've said it before that if you're just kicking stones and got your head down, then if your opportunity comes in first grade, you're not going to be playing good enough or
100%.
have a good attitude. So you just got to make the best of every situation, I guess.
Oh, totally. And that's the thing with footy is you just never know. Someone's injured, and if you're not playing good footy, someone else gets a shot, and then they start playing good footy, and all of a sudden the next big thing's been found, and you're sitting there going, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's hard, but you got to try and be professional, all the time, no matter where you're playing, and so that if you get called on, you're ready to go. Is
that something that you felt has been improved as you've gotten older and matured? You've more started to realise, it's, instead of when you're 18, now being 26. You've realised you've got to be on constantly, treat everything professionally, whether it's reserve grade or first grade. Whereas maybe when you're 18, did you feel that you'd get to reserve grade and you'd kind of see it as reserve grade?
Yeah, I think when you're younger, you just cruise through on talent, and you're probably making the teams and stuff like that, and you definitely appreciate it more when you get older and you learn that you have to be professional all the time, and if you're not, you're going to come unstuck, and that could be it.
Yeah, totally. And what's it been like with playing with Mitchell Moses and Corey Norman? Such a young spine. What's it been like for you?
No, it's been good. I'm lucky to come into a team with a lot of good players, and those two together are unreal, and they're probably the 2 of the most gifted naturally footy players that I've seen, and I've played with guys like Sowie and JT who are freaks, and I'd say these 2 together are getting better each week, and just naturally gifted, and the things they do at training I've never seen.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's
just feel for it, and picking the right options and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just everything. They're both really instinctive and can play what they see, but can also play with each other, which they've been doing for the last month and getting better each week.
Yep. And is there something unique on the field that they bring as a hooker? You'd be able to kind of gauge the flow of a game and compare, what one half is like to another half. What's something unique that Moses and Norman kind of that you feel as a hooker playing with them compared to someone like a Sowie or a Thurston?
I think a lot of halves do it, but these 2 can really be disciplined and, stick to a game plan. But then Normie will see something on Mitch's side and he's not scared to swing around and tell Mitch what to do and where to go, and then Mitch returns it. And I think we've scored a lot of tries lately with Normie playing to Mitch, playing to Bevan, stuff like that. And when Gutho was there as well, just swinging both sides. And it's hard for the defence to predict what's going on because they can just play what they see.
So they're really good at like a tactical thing that they'd be good at is like swinging the point of attack from left to right so that numbers are in your favour. But it's not like you've actually called it on a play earlier. It's just they've naturally seen it. And Mitchell is willing to push out and not get... some halves might be like, I'm not pushing out. This is my play. Whereas Mitchell's willing to step outside Normie and vice versa. Normie's willing to step outside Mitch.
And I think, they've only played, whatever it is, 5 or 6 games together. And, guys need a whole pre-season to get used to each other, and these guys are doing it in 6 weeks, what I mean? So I think that this season's looking good, and the future with those two in the halves will be pretty exciting.
Okay, sweet. So they're gelling really well together, and that's the positive thing, I guess, from an outside looking in. 2 young halves, and it's just people don't want to talk about it or whatever, but sometimes they do butt heads. Someone's like, I want to be the dominant player. I want to be, or they'll be like, look, I'm not going to step aside here. I've got a play kind of set up. But it sounds like Normie and Moses just seem to have that right yin and yang balance at the moment, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think they're just sharing that role, and we bounce ideas off each other at training, and we're taking it into games, and confidence is building each week. The more they train together, the more they play together, it'll get better for the team.
And take us back to a young Kingy. Grew up in Wagga Wagga.
So born in Wagga. Grew up there, and then actually moved down the south coast, a little town called Chiros Heads. Was living down there, and then moved back to Wagga when I was about 9. So I just kept playing footy in Wagga, and then when I was 13, I moved to Canberra for 2 years. That was enough 2 years. And it was freezing.
So cold, bro.
But just sort of moved there to play better footy, and I was a country kid and never thought I'd move to Sydney. So Canberra was sort of that halfway point, and went there and played for the Queanbeyan Blues, and was in a pretty dominant team, which was good, but they had the mercy rule down there.
Oh,
so
really?
When you get to 50 points, the game's over.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, so when there's a 50-point gap, the game's over. So most weeks, just after half-time, they'd cancel the game. And
far out.
We were done 50-0. So that got a bit frustrating for me, I guess. But I had 2 good years down there and met some really good friends. And
what do you think about the mercy rule?
I don't know if it's still around.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know what the point of it was or when it started, but
look, the kids are going to get touched up 1 week, and that's the week they get touched up, but the rest of the week it should be pretty even. They should be able to win, you know what I mean? It's not like they're going to get touched up every week.
I mean, there was only 2 or 3 teams there that would sort of give us a good run, and when I say that, we'd win 40 to 20 if they were close. So but that was good, and then I sort of realised that I was playing Union down there as well. I was in like a Brumbies academy, and I got to 15, and I decided that either stay in Canberra and play Union, or league was my love and passion. So I decided that I needed to move to Sydney and be around sort of more people and NRL clubs. And moved to Sydney and went to Endeavour Sports High and played school footy there and got picked up by the Dragons from there.
And the thing is, it sounds like an easy decision because I guess we'd be equating it to today's rugby that is relatively like barely anyone watches it. But back when you were coming through, rugby was like Super Rugby was pretty big. Like,
it was big, and the Brumbies were going good then, and it's pretty big in Canberra. Like the Brumbies have got a good following, and I was in the sort of junior Brumbies in Australian Academy down there, so it was cool. Like it was pretty exciting, and got to train with the Brumbies and stuff like that. But league was my passion.
So it was a relatively easy
4
decision.
years old, and decided I needed to move to Sydney.
So move to Sydney, go to Endeavour Sports. When was the kind of was that the time or the moment when you were like, I need to do something here if I want to be a professional footy player? Was that why the move was, or was it more everything kind of come together? You wanted to move to a city.
I just thought I wasn't getting any interest from the Raiders, who was that had around that age. You start to do development squads and stuff, and wasn't involved in any of that. And I just thought I want to pursue rugby league. It's my passion, and
Yep.
so I moved to Endeavour was like one of the top sports
footy
schools at the
sides.
time, and I decided to go there and chase the dream.
And so you go to Endeavour. What are those years like? Are you progressing at a pretty rapid rate? You playing good footy or?
Yeah, so I was in year 9 when I moved there, and probably at that sort of age, 15, where you're sort of becoming a man, I guess.
Yeah.
And,
You think you're becoming?
Yeah,
a man.
I thought I was anyway.
Yeah.
But Endeavour Sports High really shaped me into who I am.
Yeah.
It's a great footy program, but also great teachers and coaches, and it's not just a school, just footy. They're really big on education as well, and
Yep.
really helped shape me into the man I've become. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were very important in your kind of your growth as a man. Because like some schools take a pretty hands-off approach. They kind of like they school you, and you go to school, but you come home, it's all good. But so Endeavour was pretty involved in I guess shaping you.
Yeah, 100%. The like I said, the footy program was really good, but also the discipline side of it, and you're not just there for footy. You're there for an education as well. So that was pretty big.
And so when did you get picked up by the Dragons, and how did it come about? Was it shocking? Were you over the moon? Like how did it all come about?
So I started playing for the Sharks development squad.
Yep.
Because the Endeavour coach Dave Howlett was involved with the Sharks.
Yep.
So I started playing some development games for the Sharks, and then during that year sort of played school footy and New South Wales trials and stuff like that.
Yep.
So then when I was trialling for New South Wales CHS under 15s, I think it was. There's obviously lots of recruits and managers there watching that, and my manager at the time came to me, after that schoolboy tournament and said the Dragons are interested, and
Yep.
they were the first club that was interested, and sort of jumped at it straight away, being a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah. So when they said they were interested, did you move down, or did you just travel down for training and stuff like that?
No, well, so because it's split, it's still Dragons and Illawarra in juniors. So I signed sort of with the Dragons and played the Harold Matson SG Ball with the Dragons, not the Steelers. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So when was the moment when you did, so you're playing with Harold Matson, you're kind of just progressing. When was the kind of call up to the Dragons, and was it the under-20s or?
Yeah, so my played Harold Mats, and then the first year of SG Ball, so I was a year young for SG Ball. Played the whole season, and then that season finishes in like March or whatever, so it's ready for the NRL season. And the coach at the time, Steve Price, said, come and train with the 20s.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, sweet. And then I told my manager, sort of, I think I might be going up to 20s, and I might get a game. And so then started training with the 20s when I was 16.
Did that become a reality? Like, as in, you start training with the 20s when you're 16. That's extremely young. Where you start to think, well, I'm in the system here. This is really going to happen, kind of thing.
Yeah. That was pretty exciting. Sort of my first sort of look at professionalism, I guess. Under 20s, and that was the first year of 20s, 2008. So there was a lot of hype around it, and
and it was it's a high standard, because NRL kind of said to the clubs, we want you to back this needs to be kind of backed, so they put all of their,
and because it was the first year, there was a lot of 20-year-olds. So the boys that were just coming out of SG Ball,
I think
and
Dave
stuff
Taylor
like that.
played a game or something.
I think so. So there was a lot of hype around it, and it was really exciting, and that was sort of my first taste of the professional side of things, I guess.
What are your thoughts on under 20s? Do you think it was long term it was a bad decision, and it kind of has made younger guys think they've made it before they have, or do you think it is a positive for the game?
I think it can be spun both ways. Look at how many guys have come out of the 20s and are first grade superstars now, and that's an awesome thing for the NRL. And then there's the other side of it where guys get to 20 and aren't in first grade straight away. They sort of can fall away, and that's the other side of it, which is disappointing. But I'm not sure what the long term plan was for the 20s, but I think overall, it's been pretty successful. I suppose these days, the kids are in school and on TV straight away.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
when I
started playing, we played like a TV game, and then I'd go to school on Monday, and I'd think I was killing it.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I wasn't even playing footy. I thought I was killing it.
Yeah, but I think it's opened a lot of eyes to kids these days, seeing how professional they have to be to make it. Yeah.
So net positive, but also there are some negatives to it, kind of.
Yeah, I think so. But
so you play that under 20 side, and if I remember correctly, that under 20 side for the Dragons was relatively good, relatively strong.
Yeah. So 2008, I played like 10 games. So halfway through the year, I come into the team and got my first game, and then from then on, went and played the rest of the year, coming off the bench.
Yep.
And we had a good team. We lost to the Raiders in the prelim, like to make the GF.
Was that with like Dugan and that in it? Or was that before?
Yeah. They had like Dukes, Croker,
Ferguson. Was Blake Ferguson? Oh no, he wasn't there yet.
No, I think he was at the Sharks then.
Yep.
Joel Thompson.
Yeah, JT.
Guys like that. Travis Waddell.
Yep.
They had a good team.
Really good side.
Yeah. So we had a pretty good team too. Like I think we had like Mezza, Trent Merrin.
Yep.
Jakey Marketo, Joe Vickery, guys like that. And
yep.
We had a good team as well, and just fell one game short.
Yep. And so that you say they play the first year of under 20s. Actually, take us back. Sorry, growing up for you, what was it like? Was it hard? Was it easy? Did you have every opportunity given to you? What was it like for you? Was it all about footy?
Yeah, like I've played footy since I was 4 years old, and
yep.
My dad played footy, and my older brothers all played footy. So, but it was good. Like it was, I played in Wagga, and really enjoyed playing there. Like growing up in the country, and when I moved to Sydney, like to chase a dream, like it was hard at the start, and then
yep.
sort of got picked up by the Dragons, and sort of just fell straight into that system. So I had a pretty good run.
So that kind of gave you a bit of direction.
Played Harold Matts and SJ Ball, and sort of came through the grades there. So
yep.
It was a pretty good transition, I guess. Yeah.
And so that first year of under 20s goes by. Were you starting to talk to Wayne? Would have been the coach at that stage.
Yeah. Brownie was actually still there.
Okay.
That was 08.
Okay, he came 09.
He came 09,
yep.
yeah. So 09, I was still in 20s. So 09, I went back and played SG Ball again, like to get sort of match fitness and stuff. Played for
yep.
the first month, and then when the NRL season started, I came back up to 20s, and 2009 was probably like, one of the best years of my life.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. I was in year 12 and, playing school footy, playing 20s.
Yeah.
It was a big year.
I
played lots of footy.
School every day like that.
It was good. 09 was a pretty good time. Like I was, I played for the Dragons, and then played in all the school footy, all the rep footy.
As in Dragons 20s?
Yeah, Dragons 20s, yeah. Played, all the New South Wales teams, Australian schoolboys, so that was a big year.
Was that the first New South Wales side you made, or had you made New South Wales sides growing up?
So I didn't make it in the under 15s, and then for the under 18s, schoolboys and Origin and stuff like that, I started making all the rep teams, and
yep. And so were you always like a player with talent and, expected to go places, or were you a toiler that kind of worked hard and...
I was pretty big as a kid. Like I probably haven't grown since like year 12, but as a kid growing up, I was like sort of in all the teams and the rep teams and stuff. And in 2009, I just had a really good year. I was playing 20s, and then made the New South Wales CHS, the Origin, captain all those teams.
Oh,
and
wow.
Made the Aussie schoolboys at the end of the year, and so it was a big year. I probably played, 40 or 50 games of footy that year. Like,
oh, really? And just loved it?
Yeah, it was good. Like,
yep.
it was good. I barely got a scratch on me the whole year.
Like, so no injuries.
So, just had a really good year and fun year. And it was my last year at school, so I just really enjoyed it. Yeah,
100%. And so, end of 2009, is that when they start speaking to you about getting a call up to the first grade squad?
Yeah, so they spoke to me at the end of that year, and for that 2010 season, that was like my first NRL pre-season.
Yeah. So
like Wayne was the coach then, and he spoke to me, and I was only part-time, so I was doing like 3 or 4 days a week, I think, of first grade. Yeah.
And so what was the conversation like when when Wayne Bennett rings you up? Did he ring you?
I think he just spoke to me like at training.
At training, okay, so under 20s, come up to you. What was were you rattled with? Oh shit, that's what.
Yeah, like obviously Wayne Bennett. having him as my first coach was pretty cool and exciting, but also like shitting myself at the same time. So,
what did he say to you? He's like, "Hey, can you have a chat to you?"
Yeah, pretty much. I can't remember the whole conversation, but I think he just said, they see me as a potential, and if it worked out for me, to come and train 2 or 3 times a week, and go from there. Yeah.
So 2010 rolls around, and you're making your debut that year.
Yeah. So 2010 was so I did the preseason, and then I did my shoulder in the first trial.
Okay.
That year, so I ended up. It was weird because I'd done the preseason, and then the first trial I think was over in Perth for NRL, and I didn't get named in that. So they went over, say, on the Tuesday, and then on the Friday I was going up to play 20s in Cairns.
Yeah.
And say on the Thursday, someone rang me and said, "Oh, don't get on the plane to Cairns." I said, "Oh, like I didn't know what was going on." And apparently, so the boys were in Perth, and Feensy dropped a dumbbell on his hand, Nathan Feen.
Oh yeah.
And he thought they might have broke his hand, so he said, "You're going to come to Perth."
Yep.
But just wait, like we'll call you in the morning. I said, "Oh, okay, sweet." So I got a call the next morning and said, No, everything's sweet here. Go to Cairns."
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So I ended up going to Cairns and ended up doing my shoulder in that trial and missed the whole year.
Far out.
So that was like a bit. Like if I'd gone to Perth, I might not have.
done
that.
100%.
Got through injury free, and then so 2010. They said I didn't need surgery on my shoulder, so I rehabbed it for about a month. And so round 1, Dragons played Parramatta, and our 20s lost. And then I went in the sheds after the game, and Wayne had spoken to the doctor and told him about my shoulder. And Wayne came up to me and said, "What do you want to do about your shoulder?" Because I was going to play and just see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, mate, like I just want to play and see what happens." And then Wayne was obviously looking after me long term. He said, "No, mate, like you're getting surgery."
Yeah.
So I was shattered, but I was like, you know what, that's long term. It's the best thing.
You're young as.
So then that night, that was when Feensy broke his ankle, round 1.
Oh, okay.
So Feensy broke his ankle, and then the next week, Wayne spoke to me. He goes, "Mate, like I would have given you an opportunity this year, but you need to think about your long-term future and get the surgery done." So I got the surgery and come back about round 21 or something, and then ended up debuting round 26.
Last round. And this is the year they won it, eh?
Yeah.
Far out. What was that like? You come back. So you come back round 21. Did you say?
Yeah. So I was come back, played 20s.
What? So that whole year, was it torturous watching the boys kill it? You could have been a part of it.
Yeah.
You're injured.
It was good. Like so Luke Prittis played hooker. Him and
him
and Dean Young sort of played hooker. For that whole year, and then I come back and played 20s, like say from round 21, and I was playing good, but I was sort of unfit, like match 100%. Fit and stuff like that. And then so round 26, I trained with the 20s in the morning, like the Friday morning, whatever.
Was there any whisper of you making your debut?
Nah, nothing. So I did the 20s captain's run, and then that afternoon, Steve Price called me.
The assistant coach.
He was assistant coach at the time, and he said, how I was training this morning. I said, it was good. Like, wasn't sure what was going on.
Yeah.
And he goes, how do you feel about having a run with the big boys tomorrow? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, mate, you're going to make your debut. I was like, no way. Like, I was
would have been the last thing you would have expected.
Because what happened was whoever played the night before lost or whatever. So Dragons had already won the minor premiership.
Oh, okay.
So they rested like Sowie, Dean Young, Benny Hornby. So a few of us young guys got a game.
Yep.
So I was like, mate, I was stoked. Yeah. So of course I said yes. And he goes, right, I'll see you tomorrow at the game.
Far out. At the game. So that was what, Thursday he called you?
Yeah. So I think we played Friday. Might have been Saturday. I can't remember.
Something like that. Yeah.
But he goes like,
see you tomorrow at the game.
See you at the game.
So you did the captain's run for 20s.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, we're going to play you.
Yeah, so it must have been a late decision for them to rest those guys, and they just
far out.
Yeah.
Did you win?
Yeah, we won. It was pretty like, as my debut, like I was stoked, but I only played like 10 minutes, and
still
come off the bench, and like Sam Burgess was running at me. We were playing Souths. Like I was like,
it was like
myself.
Peak Burgess.
Yeah. And then like Pricey was the trainer, and he come on. He's like, "Kingy, like have a run." I was like, "Yeah, sweet." took a run and Dave Taylor like 1-on-1 stripped it.
Oh,
and they scored.
That your first run?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, oh man.
So
and
you got
then-
1-on-1 stripped and scored on your first run?
Yeah. Yeah. So I
Were
was
you
like,
rattled?
yeah, I was
as?
rattled. And then so
Well,
I
the-
only played like 10 or 15 minutes.
They
and
didn't
then-
hook you though after that, did they?
Nah.
Oh,
So I only played not long, but you know, it was
Holy
still my debut, and I was stoked. But after the game, I was like, oh man. Like,
and what were the boys saying? You had to, I was behind the try line. Like, it's all good, mate. It's
yeah,
all
I was
good."
just like, oh, there, it's all good. Like, don't worry about it. I was rattled. Like, first touch.
Yeah, first touch, 1-on-1 strip, try.
Strip,
Not
yeah.
even like strip and like no try.
Yeah.
Like strip and
I was
try.
just like, oh man.
Oh my god! But
not
you know, you
good.
may do. So, did you play another game in the or 18th man or anything? Or?
Nah. So that was it. Like round 26. So yeah, that was like my first game. We won the minor premiership. So like that was pretty cool. Like
Yeah, 'cause you're part of the squad.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then during the finals, like trained full time with the squad. So got to
Experience
the hype
all
of
that.
finals and the grand final. So that was awesome.
Did you
man.
go with the squad to the finals game?
Yeah. So
What was that like?
yeah, that was awesome. Like
Hurry out.
just be a part of it and
Yep.
be around it. You know, it's my first sort of year in first grade.
And when you
that was
made
cool.
your debut and you got the call and called your mum and that, what was that like? That phone call like for you?
That was cool. Like, so I'm still living with my mum and
Yep.
sister then, and you know, I think I was upstairs in my room and I went
Oh, really?
downstairs and
Ran down.
I said, what time are we going on the game tomorrow? And I was like, 1 o'clock, or because we're playing 20s.
Yeah.
I said, we don't have to go till 5. Like, well, why? What's happened? I said, I'm making my debut. Like, no way. Like, I was stoked.
Far
Yeah,
out.
the whole family was stoked.
You mate, tingles thinking about it, man. That
Yeah.
debut call.
Yeah, it was cool.
Debut call, man. It's crazy. Okay, so the next year rolls around. You've made your debut. You're more a part of the first grade squad.
Yeah, so then I went full time after
Yep.
that. So 2011, that was my first full time pre-season, and sort of because of debuting the year before as well, like I felt like I belonged a little bit more.
First
and
grader.
felt a little bit more confident, as opposed to my first year.
Yep.
So yeah, we did that whole pre-season, and then sort of another ironic story. Like we played, the boys were going over for the World Club Challenge.
Yep.
So they'd been talking about it for like 2 weeks leading up. Like, you need this, and I wasn't part of that squad.
Yep.
So I wasn't worried about that or anything.
Yeah, sweet. Usually it's the grand final team because they're trying to like
Yeah.
reward those boys. That's what they know.
Yeah. So it was a reward for them, and so the night they left. I think they left on a Sunday. So the night before we played a trial against the Bulldogs, and I played that trial. I played whatever, half an hour off the bench and stuff. And Nick Emmett was part of the squad going over.
Yep.
And the last 10 minutes of that game, he popped his shoulder.
Yep.
So they weren't sure whether he's going to be healthy to go on the trip. So yeah, after the game, all the boys were having a meeting in the sheds about leaving tomorrow and stuff like that. And I was just I was in the shower after the game, and I think Pricey or someone comes in and goes, can you come out here? I was like, not sure what's going on.
Well, I had to get
So-
something happened to me. The
Yeah,
boys,
no,
a
no,
bit
like,
of event
what's
for the
going
boys.
So still dripping from the shower, put a towel on,
Yeah.
walk out, and all the boys are sitting in the sheds, and I'm looking around, not sure what's going on, and Wayne goes, is your passport sweet? I said, oh yeah, I think so. What's going on?
Yeah.
Oh mate, you're coming to England tomorrow.
Oh,
All the boys just
Yeah.
clapping and that, and
Yeah.
I was just rattled. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Wasn't sure. Yeah, so had to go home and find a big suitcase and
How
get
exciting, man.
everything sorted, because we're going to the airport at 9 the next morning or something. So
Yeah.
ended up going on that trip, and that was awesome. That was a 10 or 12 day trip.
Yep.
To the other side of the world with, all these senior guys who I've trained with and stuff, but to get away on a trip and
Together, you get to know 'em.
you get to know each other more and stuff
Yep.
like that. So that was awesome. Yeah.
And so, what was the World Cup challenge? Yeah.
Yeah, so that was I didn't think I was gonna play. I was over there just in case and whatever. And then we'd been training for probably 3 or 4 days, and then Wayne come up to me and said it was either gonna be, I think it was me and Bronx Goodwin.
Yep.
One of us was gonna be the utility on
Off
the
the
bench.
bench.
Yeah. So he goes, you guys just train, and I'll let you know later in the week. So then I think we played on the Sunday night or whatever, and Wayne come up to me on say the Thursday and said, you're playing, you're gonna come off the bench. And I was like,
This is
wow,
the
like I sort of had
best.
to. 'Cause I sort of was just there, like making up the numbers,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know, it was an awesome experience. And then all of a sudden, you know, I was about to play in
yeah.
a World Club Challenge game. So, yeah, that was awesome too.
So what was that like for you?
Yeah, it was like the crowd was awesome. Like, it was only 20,000 there, but those stadiums
So
over
loud.
there, and you know, it was good. And I ended up coming off the bench and then in the second half, scored a try in that game, and then
yeah.
so that was mad. And then
Yeah.
the next set ended up tearing my pec.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I went to make a tackle, and my arm just sort of felt like there was a hole in my chest. And I ran back on side, and the captain of their team, that Sean O'Loughlin, I think his name is, he seen me like hold my arm, and he run straight at me like the next two tackles.
Torture.
And then the trainer come and grabbed me and said, "Mate, go off." So I went off, and it just didn't feel right. And then he sort of done this test, and you could feel that it was off the
muscle was
bone.
gone.
Yeah, so I was like shattered. Like I just went in the sheds and started crying, just because of the year I'd had the year before. Like, you know, you just get that feeling. I just knew that it was going to be serious, and yeah, I just broke down in the sheds, and yeah, that was pretty.
Because you knew the pain that was about to come ahead. Like it's not necessarily the pain of the injury. You knew that next 6 weeks or next 6 months even it's going to be torture.
Yeah. So, but you know, I ended up coming back out onto the bench and watching the boys win that game, and
yeah,
you know, I was celebrating that. You know, it was an awesome achievement for the boys and for the club, and you know, it was disappointing, but it's still, I'd take it as a positive. Like, that was a great trip.
Yeah,
getting to know all those senior guys, you know, who I'd looked up to for years, and you know, it was disappointing, but we got to celebrate, you know, being the world champions, so that sort of made up for it.
100%. And so, how long were you out for with the torn pec?
Yeah, so that one, I come back, I think it was like 6 months. So I tore it off the bone, so I had to have like the full operation. So I think I come back and played like the last 4 games in 20s.
So that 6 months, was it like, I mean, yeah, 2 years in a row. Both years you're building this momentum, about to play first grade, and then injured. What was the second time where you kind of like, I can't go through this shit? Like,
yeah, it was frustrating. Like, you know, I'm pretty mentally strong, and I feel like I can deal with injuries. But the thing in my career so far has been like, when there's been an opportunity there, that's when I've got injured. So that 2011, Rainey went on to play every game that year and sort of establish himself, and then so leading into the next year, I was sort of, you know, behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, people don't, as I was saying earlier, like, someone can come in and they play mad, and then all of a sudden, and you can't take anything away from them. Like, they're playing good, Rainey's playing good.
Yeah, me and Rainey were, you know, still good mates to this day, and you know, I was stoked to see him play, and like, he was killing it. He was going good. Him and Feensy were sort of sharing the hooker role, and but you know, there's just.
Was there ever a moment at that stage in your career where you're like, this is my, like, is this ever going to happen? Like, or were you young, full of energy, it's going to happen?
Oh, a bit of both. Like, it was just, I'd never really had many injuries before that, like 2010. So 2 years in a row to play, you know, I think I played, 5 or 6 games total in 2 years. Like, I was pretty rattled, but, you know, at the time I was 20 years old, and, you know, this is what I wanted to do for, you know, the rest of my life, you know, as long as I can. So, you know, I always just thought, you know, just get through it and get back and see how you go.
So the next year, this would have been 12 now?
2012, yeah.
So going into 2012, you know, what was the feeling? You know, you did a whole pre-season. Wayne Bennett left the club. Pricey became the coach. What was that like for you, 2012?
Yeah, it was good. You know, I'd got injured the year before, but I was fit enough to do the whole pre-season. So I did the whole pre-season, and then that was my first year out of 20s. And it was the first year that the Dragons brought in the Cutters. Illawarra Cutters. I think that was your first year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
2012, yeah. So the Cutters were there, so I wasn't playing first grade at the start of the year. And then I think round 4 was my first game. I think Feensy got injured the week before, so that was my first game. So I think it was me and Rainey, or me and Dean Young, can't remember, I was playing hooker. And so that was my first game for 2012, and I come off the bench and broke my thumb in that game. So that put me out for 6 weeks, I think.
So 6 weeks, round 4.
Yeah, and then
you're out. So you come back around 10, 11?
Yeah, and then for the rest of that year, like I think I played a game here and there, like just couldn't establish myself.
And you just got no momentum. You've barely played any footy.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, play some footy. And I played a fair bit of footy that year in reserve grade, like probably the most I played for a while. And then, I'm not sure how many games I played, maybe 4 or 5 for first grade that year. And was just sort of in and out, and it was pretty frustrating. But, that's just the way it was going.
Yeah, footy.
Yeah.
So the next year then, 2013 rolls around. What's the, are you starting to get a bit antsy, like, oh shit, like what's going on?
So the middle of 2012, I re-signed with Dragons, so I re-signed for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then so to this day, I always regret this. So 2012, I re-signed, and then towards the end of the year, like I kept getting, oh, you might play this week, and then get to the end of the week, nah, you just play reserve grade.
Yeah.
Sort of, oh, you might play this week, just see how you go, and then not end up playing. I was just getting really frustrated. And so the last game of the year was like Dean Young, Ben Hornby, it was their last game.
Yeah.
And went to training that week, and the coach said, "Yep, you're playing this week." And then I'd been playing reserve grade most of the year, and we needed to win that week to make the finals.
Yep.
So I said to the coach, at the time, I said, "Oh, mate, do you mind if I just play reserve grade this week?"
Yeah.
And like looking back, it's probably the one thing that I regret about my career so far. And like, Pricey was the coach then, and he's like, are you serious? Like, you don't want to play first grade?
Yeah.
I said, oh, like, mate, I've been playing reserve grade most of the year. It's a big game, and
there is, like, and it sounds like not wanting to play first grade, but it's more like, you got to remember, like, reserve grade isn't just a place that players go and just like hang out. Like, they've got a bond, a team, a goal at the end of the year. It matters to win that premiership.
Yeah. So
and also remember, the Dragons were done.
So that was round 26. So that was the last game, and so I said to him, mate, like, I want to play reserve grade, and then he sort of told me to shove it, and I got sent home from training that day, and I was pretty rattled. Like, I drove back home to Cronulla, and Mary McGregor was the reserve grade coach at the time, and he was ringing me because he'd heard what happened. He was seeing if I was all right and that, and then so I was pretty rattled after that. And so you have the end of season reviews, like with the coach and stuff.
Yeah.
And so this was probably September, and then sort of got told that if I wanted to look around and if I could find somewhere else to go, that I should leave.
Yep.
So I was like pretty rattled. Like,
so when you made that decision, like, what was your intention with that decision? Like, what were you feeling in a moment to make that choice?
I was probably just young and dumb, and I was just frustrated at the year that I had, and I just decided that I wanted to play reserve grade that week, and I was, like I said, it's not the smartest decision I've ever made, but I did it, and so the review at the end of the year, I got told that I just re-signed for 2 years, but I got told that if I could find somewhere else, that I should probably just leave.
Did you think that was a bit harsh in the fact that it's one mistake?
Or
were you like, no, I can understand why you would do that?
Yeah, I could understand, and like I said, it was my fault, and I regret that decision. But I did it, and from there, like, I rang my manager and told him what had happened, and he sort of said, there's nothing. It's September, like, it's too late to sort of find anywhere. And the Knights was the only other place that I was maybe going to go during that year, because Wayne was the coach. Yeah. So I rang Wayne to talk to him and see what he thought, and he was obviously thinking of me long term as a person, and he said that's the easy way out, and I respected that. So he said the best thing to do was to apologise and stick it out, and that's what I did. I caught up with Pricey, and we went and had lunch, and I sort of just apologised, and said that I made the wrong decision, and that was I was ready to stay and rip in.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it's like, obviously, probably not. It is not the smartest decision. Like, it's a silly decision, but also, like, we make mistakes, like, you know. If you can apologise and be like, let's just move forward.
Yeah, so that was a mistake that I put my hand up that I made, and
Yep.
like I said, I still regret it.
Do you reckon it was more like because, you know, you'd been working your butt off all year, you were frustrated with everything, like with all the injuries, with all the last few years, you know, you kept getting told you're playing, then you weren't playing, then you were playing, and eventually you're like, you know what, fuck, whatever then. Like, was that kind of like that,
sort
like
of,
throw your hands up kind of thing?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was young and I just had the shits, and I was just like, I said what I said, and I made my decision, and sort of went from there.
And so 2013, so Pricey said, I accept, you know, all good.
Yeah, so me and Pricey was sweet. He goes, mate, I need you to rip in this pre-season and, you know, sort of get his trust back, I guess. And, that's what I did. I had a massive pre-season, and 2013 was the first year where I felt comfortable and I was ready to play regular first grade. And, you know, I was in the team for round one, which was the first time I'd done that, so that was pretty exciting. Yep.
And so, round one comes around. You finally played round one. What was it like?
Yeah, it was awesome. I was coming off the bench, playing hooker, and you know, it was awesome. We played down in Melbourne round one, which was a big game, and I think we got beat, but you know, I was happy to be starting the year in first grade, and felt like a reward for all the hard work I'd done in the pre-season. Yeah.
And so how was the rest of the year for you?
So 2013 was another frustrating year. I did my medial in, I think, round 4.
Yep.
So that put me out for about 5 weeks. And then I came back and went straight into first grade, which was
That's
nice.
awesome,
Like, it was a bit of faith shown in me, I guess. So I came back, and I think that was when I played the most back-to-back games. I think I played 5 or 6 games after that.
Yep.
And then against Penrith, it was weird. Like, I hurt my shoulder. I tackled that Mossy Masoi.
So big.
Yeah, so I just I went low on him and sort of got a burner in my shoulder. Played the rest of the game, and it was all right. And then woke up the next morning to go to recovery, and like couldn't lift my shoulder like off my side at all. And I told the trainer, and he said, "Oh, you know, you played the rest of the game. She'll be all right. We'll get a scan." And then got the scan and needed a full shoulder reco. So that was.
So what round was that?
It was mid-year, so it was probably about round 14, 13, something like that.
Oh man, was that a time when you're like, "Fuck, this is it. I cannot do this again," or you're like, "Oh no, all good."
Yeah, that was probably the first time where like my mind started to
Think
play with
about
me
that.
and think, you know, like, is this still what you want to do, and stuff like that. And so during 2013, just before that, my manager rang me and asked if I would consider going to the Cowboys mid-year.
Yep.
And I was playing first grade at the time, and I was like, you know, nah, like I'm enjoying it here, and I don't think I want to go. So then obviously did my shoulder, and I had a holiday. So I went for a holiday up to Port Douglas, and then spent a few days in Cairns.
Yep.
And it just so happened that there was a Australian schoolboys tournament. It was in Cairns.
Yep.
So I went there, and obviously playing school footy, I met a lot of people, and I went up there and you know, talked to a few people up there, and I knew someone at the Cowboys at the time, and they said, you know, would you come up next year? And I was still contracted for Dragons at the time, and I rang my manager and I said, "Oh, are the Cowboys still interested?" Like, it was already after June 30.
Yep.
But I said, "Are they interested for next year?" And he sort of said, leave it with me." And then I ended up, signing with the Cowboys for 2014.
And what got a release from Dragons?
So I got released from the last year of my contract at the Dragons.
And what was that conversation? Was it mutual? Just like, okay, yeah, sweet, we understand, or?
No, it was. I had an inkling that I was going to be moving on after that first year of that contract, and but at the time, you know, it sort of happened real quick. Like, I went up to Townsville and had a look around, and decided that I liked it, and they wanted to offer me a contract, and I sort of, you know, let my manager sort out the rest, and I got back to the Dragons, and sort of had a conversation with Pricey and said that that's where I was going to go.
And he was just like, okay, so that's what you want to do?
Oh, I think he was disappointed, and I was pretty disappointed too. Like, that's how my career at the Dragons ended.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would end like that, but you know, I made the decision to move on, and the rest is history. Yeah.
And so Cowboys, so what was that like for you? You go to the Cowboys and you move up there. You
So,
meet the great bloody JT that everyone probably asks you about.
Yeah.
Everyone asks me about Darren Lockyer.
Yeah. That was good. I loved my time up there. So I know, it was good because it felt like a fresh start for me. Like I was still only 23 years old. And,
Yeah. And you know that baggage of like just those years where you're struggling at the Dragons, like you just have like a certain people have a certain image of you at a certain club because they've seen you the last few years, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can just like go to a new club. They obviously know about the injuries and that, but they're not seeing you day in day out at rehab, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think at the Dragons, you know, I just sort of turned into the kid with potential, but he's always injured, sort of thing, and that was sort of frustrating because I knew what I was capable of, and I just couldn't get on the field and show it. So that was frustrating. But Cowboys gave me a chance and went up there, and like I said, it was just a fresh start. I felt like everything in the past was done, and had a great preseason up there, and got used to the weather and stuff like that. It was
so
unreal.
hot.
Yeah, it's so different, like 30 degrees at 8 a.m. Like
Yeah.
it was unreal.
Pre-season's hectic.
Yeah, it was tough. Like a lot of running, but just the heat just drains you. And, but in the long term, it's really good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what was pre-season gets done, and what was it like meeting, guys like Thurston and Matt Scott and things like that?
Yeah. So the end of 2013 was the World Cup. So those boys didn't come back till January. So it was sort of good for me to just get to know everyone else during the November, December pre-season, and those boys come back in January, and just to see how they conduct themselves and train, and the ultimate professionals like JT, Matt Scott, Gavin Cooper, guys like that.
Was Tatey still there when you were there?
Yeah, Tatey was still there. Yeah, so Tatey was
Bruno.
That was his last year there. So
oh man, he's a legend.
He's a
nicest bloke ever. So angry all the time.
Yeah.
Grumpy.
It doesn't take much to get him started.
There's a little tweak in his.
Let's just start a fire.
Any stories of the boys stirring Tatey up?
Oh, every day. I don't know one specific one, but you know what he's like. It doesn't take much. And, once you get him started on something, his head goes red and he goes on a rant.
Oh man, I love him. He's a legend.
Yeah.
What's something so you go to Cowboys 2014. They won 2015 or 16?
15, yeah.
So you were part of the squad when they won that year.
Yeah. So 14 was like another frustrating year. So like I said, I'd left everything in the past, and I trained really hard and played good in the trials, and missed out on the team for round one, but was still
in the mix.
And I was at a new club, and I was really positive, and so I started playing. I was playing up in Cairns for reserve grade, and then so I think it was like maybe round 5 or 6. The coach came up to me and said, "Mate, like you're playing really good. You're in the mix for this week."
Yep.
I said, "All right, sweet." So trained, and then didn't end up playing. So I went up to Cairns, ended up doing my medial. So that was like pretty frustrating because I knew I was close.
Yeah.
So I did my medial, and I was out for 6 weeks. But the coach sort of was positive, Greenie, and he said, "Mate, get back, get fit, and you'll be in the mix for the team." So I said, "Yeah, sweet." So I think I was meant to be out for 6 weeks. So I ended up coming back in 4. Like I just ripped into my rehab and stuff like that. And so I played, I think, 2 games in reserve grade to get match fit. And then he said, "Mate, you're gonna play this week." So my first game for the Cowboys was against Broncos on a Friday night. So like
Suncorp?
No, it was at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So Dairy
home.
Farmers, so still just...
It was still packed. Like, it was 30,000 there.
Yep.
And, it was like I was stoked. Obviously the build-up, you know what those games are like.
Yeah, sick.
And at home was pretty cool as well. So I was on the bench that game, and like after about 20 minutes, JT got a head knock.
Yep.
So like I subbed on for JT. So that was like my first thing as a Cowboy was to replace JT. And I was shitting myself as I was like, "Oh, I'm not playing in the halves, am I?" Like, So I ended up going to hooker, and Rory Jason, who was playing hooker, went to the halves, and JT was only off for 10 minutes. So that was my first game for the Cowboys, and we won that game, like the local derby and that. So that was the first game, like awesome first game to be a part of.
Yep.
And played pretty good. Like played, I think 40 minutes or so. So I was pretty stoked with that. And then the next week we played the Roosters, So I was on the bench again. So I sat on the bench for the first half, and then second half I come on after about 10 minutes, and then was sort of going back and forth, and like I sort of had that nervous energy, and like I was real tired on the field, like after like sort of 20, 30 minutes, and there was like 5 minutes to go, and we were winning at the time, and it was last tackle, and I went to like kick pressure James Maloney, and he stepped back inside me, and I went to turn, and my knee just buckled, and that was my first knee like ACL injury. And the feeling was like, nothing else that I'd felt before.
Oh, really?
I knew that something was wrong. And then, so my second game for the Cowboys, done my ACL.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, so that was real frustrating because like I said, I was at the new club and felt refreshed, and I'd worked really hard to get into the team.
And you'd already done your medial.
Yeah, so I'd done my medial like 6 weeks before that, and then second game, so done my ACL, and that was a year over.
Was this now we're starting to think shit?
Yeah, that was probably the lowest, like darkest point for me so far in my career, I reckon. Like just being at a new club and working really hard to get in that team, and just knowing that that was my season done, and I knew that what the rehab was going to be like, and so that was probably when I started to consider whether this was still for me.
Yeah. So you do your rehab, you do the pre-season 2015, everything's sweet, all good.
Yeah.
And then what was 2015 like?
So it was good. Like I had a really good like rehab with Andrew Kroll.
Yeah, Crowley,
legend. So he
Such
was
a
sort
good
of
guy. Great coach.
He was our head trainer.
Yeah.
And sort of got me back, and him and he brought another guy to the club, Anthony Wood.
Yeah.
Those two guys together made the rehab really easy, and
he's so good at like you still train just as hard, but he does it in a way that like not dickish.
Yeah,
you don't
spoke
hate
to
him?
other guys that know him, and like he's just he just has his own way of doing things.
Yeah.
And,
whereas like other trainers, you hate at the time, you hate him. You're like, fuck you, man. Like fuck you. Whereas Crowley just like
he's hands down like the best trainer that I've had.
Yeah, he's one of the best. 100%.
First grade. So worked really closely with him, and he bike rides a lot.
Yeah.
So he got me into that, and that was sort of a big part of my rehab was, out road biking, and that's something I've never done. I've done shoulders where you just sit in the gym and ride a bike, and you start to lose your mind a bit. You get out on the open road, and it's still hard, like riding 50 Ks, and you still like it's really good for your knee. So.
Totally.
Yeah, that was good.
So that 2015.
Yeah, so 2015, I was back and played all the trials, and was playing good in the trials, and the club had bought Jake Granville as well. So there was me, Jake, Rory, and Ray Thompson.
Yep.
So there was 4 of us at the club. And I sort of knew that I was sort of behind the 8 ball a bit, coming back from injury, but that was sort of out of my control. So all I could do was just train and. Put my best foot forward in the trials, and I played good in the trials. Like, it was my first game back was a trial against the Broncos, and just to get through that game, I was stoked and sort of give me confidence. And so I started the year in reserve grade and ended up only playing 2 games that year, like around the Origin time.
Yep.
So that was a bit frustrating, but. It's just one of those things.
And when they won the comp, were you there? Were you at the game?
Yeah. So it was awesome to be a part of that. It was for the club and for the town. There was such a build up, and the fans up there are passionate. They live and breathe rugby league, and to be a part of that.
Were you in the dressing sheds or on the sideline?
For the grand final?
Yeah.
So they flew us all down on grand final day, like all the guys who weren't playing and that. And, it was just, it was unreal.
What was that when you watched JT?
Yeah. So the whole atmosphere was great, and it was one of the best grand finals ever.
Yeah, I was there too. It was fucking mental.
It was unreal, and like the eerie feeling, like when Felty scored that try, like JT took an eternity, like to take that kick, and the whole crowd everyone was just like talking and whispering, but no noise. It was so weird, and
it was weird. It was this
I
weird
remember all
feel.
of us, on the sideline, like jumping up when he kicked it, because he sort of was celebrating like he kicked the goal, and he obviously hit the post, and the boys had to refocus, and when he kicked that field goal, like all of us, sprinted out there, and like that like I didn't even play, but that feeling after winning the grand final for the club and
everything,
the town was unreal, and the party back in Townsville was unreal.
Crazy.
Too. The town's going.
What
crazy.
was it back in the dressing shed? What was it like? What did Greeny say?
Oh, obviously, we had all the family and friends and sponsors and everyone there. So, he just spoke about how proud he was of the team and the squad, and we'd had a really good year, and it's hard. It takes everyone to win the grand final.
Oh, man. Yeah.
From the front office all the way down. Everyone pulling in the same
The
direction.
guy cutting the grass at the stadium.
Like everyone plays their part, and I think that's important for people to know. Like, it's not just 17 to play. It's like I said, from the front office all the way down to the ball boys.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Everyone plays their role. So he just spoke about how proud he was of everyone, and then all the players, we went out on the field and had a beer together. So that was pretty cool. That was
it a
special.
bloke and a barbie?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
So you're telling me JT, Jonathan Thurston, celebrated? We can confirm he celebrated with a bloke and a barbie.
Well, we were in plastic cups, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Okay, sweet. Okay, yeah, man, I would have been sick to be a part of.
Yeah, so then, we obviously celebrated all night, and then got the plane back to Townsville the next day, and we had like a parade at
the roughest heads ever.
Oh, yeah, no sleep. But yeah, so we had like a parade thing at the stadium up there, and there was 20,000 people there packed in the stadium, and
sick.
It was unreal. It was a great time to be a part of. Yeah.
And then your decision to move to the Eels, what was that like?
Yeah, so sort of got the feeling like halfway through 2015 that I wasn't going to be offered a contract at the Cowboys, and sort of was on to my manager about what was out there, and to be honest, I wasn't sure whether I was going to keep playing, like for someone to take a chance on me, and I still felt like I hadn't reached my potential, but for someone else to see that was, I was hoping and wishing that someone would, and during the year, he said maybe Parramatta. I said, oh yeah, like I wasn't fussy, like I was just trying to get a contract somewhere, and just to stay in the system, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just to give yourself a fair crack kind of thing.
And so Parramatta was playing up in Townsville like a couple of weeks after that. And I knew like a few boys in Parramatta, like Normie and Dave Gower and Takarangi and that, and I went and seen him at the hotel, and Brad Arthur walked past and sort of said g'day to me, and I wasn't sure if he knew who I was, because my manager had been speaking to him about me. And then I was having a coffee with the boys, and he come back and sort of introduced himself and said, hey mate, I've been speaking to your manager, and if you're keen, we're keen to give you an opportunity to come down and see how you go. So as soon as I met him that day, like I rang my manager and said, yeah, like I'm keen to get down there, and I saw it as a club like with potential, like moving forward. So just to be part of that squad, and that was when I sort of made my decision, and my manager did the rest.
All right, I ask all the boys this: funniest prank they've ever seen in a team.
Funniest prank. Wow, man. Wow, that's tough.
People just you'll be driving home, bro, and you'll be like,
I know. I'll think of one later, but I know, like, so when I was at the Dragons, like, it was sort of me, Trent Merrin, and Jake Marketo were sort of the three young guys who the older boys used to stitch up and stuff. So, I can't remember anything specific, but most of the stuff used to happen to sort of Mezza and Jakey. They were the sort of two class clowns. You know what they're like.
Yeah, totally.
Mezza, I think Mezza was pretty easily rattled sometimes.
Oh, bro.
The older boys used to get into him.
100%. Because he had so much potential. It was a way of showing love to him. It was a way, because they knew he was going to be a part of the squad. Favourite rapper of all time?
Favourite rapper? Wow, favourite rapper. I don't know if he's a rapper, but I'd say Drake.
Yeah,
Drake's, he raps a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, he's a good rapper. Like you can't take that away from him. He's a good rapper.
Yeah, he's a good singer.
So
too,
Drake of all time,
mate. Drake's up there.
Fair enough.
I rate his music.
Favorite movie of all time?
Ooh, I'd have to say, Remember the Titans, probably.
Yeah, so good.
I can probably quote the whole movie just about. Like I've seen it 100 times. Bro. Yeah, it's one of the best.
Good. Craziest injury you've seen someone play on with on the footy field?
Craziest injury. I don't know.
Yeah, so you'll think of it when you're driving in the car.
I don't know. Yeah.
If you could have a billboard anywhere saying anything, what would it be and where would it be?
A billboard, huh? It'd have to be in Vegas somewhere.
Vegas, just like photoshopped up, ripped. King Dog.
Hail the King. I don't know.
All right, bro. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. And I'm sure we'll get you back on. I'm just stoked to see you playing first grade again, man. It's awesome, and hopefully injury free. Keep playing good footy. Get some 5 now. We need to get past 7 games in a row.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
7 games in a row. But thank you so much, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, that's forward pass, Mr. Cummins, you dickhead. Well, I can't speak. Forward a mile. He's let it go. That one, Stevie Wonder is in. Now 5 yard forward. Well, I can't speak.